Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the Xbox side for North America. Aggro joined by Anatoly and Toly. We got a big one here today. Flashpoint have a chance to punch their ticket to come to LAN for their chance to go to HRX.
That's right. They are still in control of their own destiny. Armada were able to find that 2-0 victory offline up against Astral, finding their first defeat ever, and that comes with good timing. So as long as Flashpoint can find a victory here today, they'll advance.
Astral definitely putting the pressure on, or well, I guess Astral losing puts the pressure on here for Flashpoint. Armada the one actually applying the pressure now, because if Flashpoint do end up losing here to Elevate, they would miss out on the chance to go to the qualification LAN, ultimately to go to DreamHack. But Elevate, the team they're up against, hasn't found a victory yet this split.
But you could say the same thing about the earlier set where Astral were not defeated, but
True.
then Armada found the victory. So anything is possible in the world of the console league here to wrap things up in week number 6.
That's right. Should be ready to go in picks and bans pretty shortly here. This Flashpoint roster is just absolutely stacked of veteran players, a large portion of them defending world champions. In fact, only one member is the defending world champ, Inbound, who was the support for this team last year when they won, moving up to the SPL now, playing with Luminosity. So Matt Koiz being the replacement.
And keegsmate being in there in the 100 position now, taking a little bit of a time off from the console world to PC, switching back things up.
Also to Luminosity.
To his native, It's funny how they're just like plugging things away from the console world up there in LG land, but here in the console land, no surprise to see Odin being first banned.
No, Odin, no Wolves in this matchup. He's on Astral, but still willing to be banned away. Could be Flashpoint looking for things like healers potentially that could be shut down by that Odin. But that first pick, throwaway ban, fairly standard. This leaves open up Athena, Freya, and Flashpoint's going to go for the Freya.
Freya's going to be an absolute nightmare in the late game. You don't want to deal with her. And I think in the mid lane specifically, Crimson has been known to play it from time to time. I don't expect necessarily Keegs to pilot this goddess, but we'll see how the support wants to play it.
Crimson does like to play his hunters in mid, so I think there is some potential for Freya in the dual lane. But we'll have to wait and see. Is Elevate going to prioritize Kumbhakarna and Erlang Shen? Two frontliners, but frontliners that bring excellent control, and honestly, both bring great damage as well.
That's true. It's hard to get away from both of these gods, whether you're locked in with the Mez, the Root, or then Erlang Shen chasing you down with his Fatalis effect Mink form.
That's true, man. It's tough to get away as Neith, the last pick before the second ban phase here by Flashpoint. Neith tells me that probably is in the mid lane because she's so good there, but we have seen more and more Neith in the dual lane as of late as well, so we'll have to wait and see. Is Scylla a great character to follow up off of all this setup that Elevate already has?
That's true, but I would rather have a Freya in the mid against a Scylla than a Neith, because if you get rooted by that first ability, you not going to be able to backflip necessarily, but at least you can go into Valkyrie's discretion.
Sure, fair point. Is Chiron banned by Flashpoint, a pretty good character right now that's seeing a little bit more play as an assassin and a warrior band, Robin and Amaterasu by Elevate. I think that Flashpoint here, I mean, I'm already looking at characters like potentially in a Willish that can get early game pressure, can punish the dash by Scylla, and you already have that mini knockup from Kuzenbo's ultimate. I think that that could be something Jumpahhh could look for.
Well, we'll see what Jumpahhh elects to go for, but it will be the Thor. Global pressure synergizing with the Neith a little bit further makes some sense, especially if you are going to stick the Neith in the mid lane to get a lot of physical power to even gank the solo lane.
Wow, the Morrigan picked up here. So is that Morrigan solo would be my guess, just based on this comp?
I mean, if it's not going to be Morrigan solo, then Kuzenbo would have to be solo, and then who's going to play support? It would be potentially Morrigan support. It's something that Matt Koiz could flirt with.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Who do you think is going to win this game? Will Flashpoint put themselves one step closer to making it towards DreamHack, or will Elevate find a victory? And then when these two teams played earlier on the split, Elevate did at least take a game off of
That's
Flashpoint.
true. That was in the week 3 matchup, and that was an impressive set. Elevate were able to battle in a very long set, I believe it was, as well. So I think Flashpoint have their work cut out for them today.
Well, Flashpoint's got a little bit of an interesting roster as we go into game and see that it's actually Morrigan jungle, Thor solo.
Huh.
Why do you think this is the way that Flashpoint chooses to put these picks?
So Thor solo means the ganks coming from that solo lane are least expected. That's the last person you're trying to see in the mid lane whenever there's going to be your jungler, middle, support, maybe a hunter from time to time, but the Thor coming from the solo lane is going to be the highest level, so therefore he should have more base damage with some of his abilities, and that's something Delnyy is going to look to exploit alongside the Thor passive.
Delnyy does have no blessing in this game, just starts with the boots 2 and is going to back to base, teleport in order to finish his warrior tab by as soon as possible. Nexamiss going for the pretty traditional at this point, Guardian's Blessing in the solo lane. SadAquaticApe actually had to use the purification beads. The red buff invade being attempted, but Keegs still only level 1. He uses the beads, and red buff goes down for Elevate, I believe. No, Keegs got it because he hit level 2.
That's right. He
needed
needed it.
Fall.
He needed that level 2 to be able to get the backflip, but intercepting one of his basic attacks took a little bit longer than anticipated, and as a result, going to take an early spill. Good first blood for Epsilon. Vela now piloting the Jing way.
Just don't understand why Flashpoint have their mid jungle on the right, going for mid harpies on the right side of the map, where they're invading on the left. Should be going for the spot where they can actually help out their teammates in that situation.
That's very true, and as a result, now losing their own purple buff. We're actually securing it, but almost about to get contested there. It's something that you want to be able to group up. If you have pressure in the left lane and pressure in the mid, unify that as a 4-man invade as opposed to doing a 2-2 split, and as a result of splitting up, they get plucked away one by one.
Oh, Jumpahhh goes back in order to try and find some damage on a SadAquaticApe, but DoctorL and IAmTheHamster trying to chase him down. Knockup's good from DoctorL, but the rest of Elevate can't quite close the gap. In fact, Crimson just turns around and puts a pot shot in DoctorL for good measure.
Dark Omen from Jumpahhh slowing down a little bit of the movement speed from DoctorL. Crimson with the follow-up. This is the kind of synergy you're expecting to see, and if there's ever anyone that's going to play Morrigan jungle, I would expect that to be DoctorL, not necessarily Jumpahhh. So the fact that he's bringing this out in week number 6 to wrap things up in the console fall online portion shows great strides of expanding his god pool heading into the LAN.
DoctorL did play a lot of Morrigan jungle last year, so kind of being used against him in this spot, but definitely just a lack of respect there for Crimson's damage in the mid lane. I mean, Freya with red in the early stages hits pretty darn hard and can clear the wave very quickly. It's why she's so popular right now, is it's not only the damage that she provides, but setup, a great ultimate, and really, really good wave clear all at the same time.
And she's going to be super safe now with this pick. A 2-level advantage over AquaticApe, actually 1 level, as he just now hits that level 4 Scylla marker. And that's going to be the difference between these two characters, is who's going to be able to get off their ultimate effectively. Because if Crimson uses his ultimate first, all AquaticApe has to do is wait for that landing. And if AquaticApe uses that ultimate, well, Freya's is going to go to the sky.
Can deal easy damage from that position. Certainly one to watch out for. As I mentioned, though, there's lots of setup here for Ape on this Scylla. You've got Sobek, which is great frontline, DoctorL, which is some of the best jungle setup you could ask for in the Erlang Shen, especially when he goes for the blink pickup. And, of course, Kumbhakarna right there as well.
Stolen.
Delnyy, yeah, he's able to get one, but now he's got to use the ultimate in order to try and get away, and does just barely manage to escape. SadAquaticApe being level 4, the difference there, and Delnyy surviving.
I'm surprised that he actually committed to the teleport there, but considering how low that minion was, the big harpy, you want to be able to secure that. It's every 60 seconds, but giving up your life, not necessarily worth it, with this teleport still down for about 65 seconds as he transports himself back to that lane. He missed out on all those melee minions, and look at what Nexamiss is doing, trying to even zone him away between the tier 1 and the tier 2.
Good idea by Nexamiss, in order to deny that entire wave from Delnyy. As IAmTheHamster takes a lot of damage from Koiz's sumo slam. Keegs a little bit off the mark with the root. Koiz still trying to keep the chase going. Keegs doesn't have a whole lot of cooldowns left to provide damage this early on, so IAmTheHamster manages to escape.
Funny little interaction as keegsmate just now hits level 5, charging his ultimate. Probably going to fire it at Nexamiss, that's feeling very frisky. He uses ultimate to proxy between that tier 1 and tier 2. Going to get walled off a Jumpahhh, setting up Delnyy.
Dark Omen misses, and that's where all of Jumpahh's damage is going to come from this early on, and I think I know where that surrender vote just came from. A kill dropped on the right side. Keegs uses the ultimate early, but a full health Sobek, even with 2.5 people attacking him, he's tough to bring down.
So you're more familiar with these players than I am. You think that was Jumpahhh making that?
Either Jumpahhh or Delnyy would be my guess. Yeah, I think it might be Delnyy, saying that we dropped that kill because the Dark Omen missed, and that's where all your damage is. I think that'd be my guess.
That's definitely like a surrender vote in jest, if anything else, because there's no way these players are actually thinking like that. For you folks at home, a lot of these players have played a lot of Smite back at home with each other, whether it's rank, casuals, or otherwise. So sometimes you just got to have fun with it.
Nexamiss uses the ultimate for 180 damage, maybe?
You ever just like make that accidental surrender vote? Well, actually on purpose, but in jest, and then all of a sudden There's like
through.
3 people that actually vote. And like, all right, guys, I was just kidding. Don't
wait, chill. It's like it's not that serious. Yeah, all the time. Yes, but as of late, I've had much more serious surrender votes than joking ones, unfortunately. Delnyy getting bullied out a little bit in this lane. Not a lot of sustain for him. I mean, he's Thor, not a warrior or guardian that you usually have a little bit more sustain in the kit. So all the damage Nexamiss puts on him is going to stay relevant.
So Thor solo was really popular at Season 2, Season 3 when Red Pot was purchasable at level 1. Having the extra physical power from that consumable and the passive allows you to just be that lane dominant bully. And there was actually first blood potential if you were to pick up a horrific emblem or the weakening curse back then, where it actually applied a heavy slow as opposed to an anti-healing, and that gave you a lot of first blood potential, which is why it was popular. But now, without the red potion being available, Thor has been less enticing in the solo lane.
Going for the Chile this time around. Just Jumpahhh lurking on the left side, but Ward spotted him out. I thought it might be a runic shield because it gives you a little bit more tankiness effectively against magicals by quite a bit. I mean, you get more magical protection, you get more health, and you get that passive that reduces the magical damage. But the Chile gives you 10% CDR, which Thor really does crave a lot of the time, especially if Delny's using his hammer as the wave clear. Especially if he's looking to rotate to mid, which he hasn't done quite yet, sadly enough. Keegsmate going to avoid a little bit of pressure with the beads. Koiz going to get knocked up. Watery Grave just for defensive purposes. So ultimate for ultimate in the duel lane. AquaticApe in some trouble, though. World Weaver will connect, but good use of CC immunity by Ape in order to not get stunned or use the purification beads, as Crimson will turn his attention towards a red buff, able to strip it away and get himself out of some danger. As now DoctorL has to deal with a second Neith ult, courtesy of Jumpahhh this time around, and Crimson's able to get it with that Valkyrie's Discretion. Now looking for a little bit more. Epic Uppercut actually gets him out of some damage. Coming from Ape is a great stun coming from Jumpahhh. Clotheslines Ape.
What?
Hamster will fall here as well. Could be a triple kill for Crimson.
Crimson playing that perfectly. Beezing at the right timing. Using his ultimate right when necessary. I like the fact that he didn't try to chase AquaticApe during IAmTheHamster. With how much movement speed Scylla gets during that ultimate, it's not really worth. But knowing that DoctorL was right around that corner, going to get stunned. And I like the fact that Flashpoint are committing to these double Neith ultimates, whether it's onto SadAquaticApe or otherwise. They're able to really pick people apart, and that's what Elevate needs to watch out for, these global pressure.
You're really looking at the Neith transformation and the Thor transformation, I think, is the two best options here for Jumpahhh. And the last pick, Morrigan, for Flashpoint, you'd expect, you know, Circuit and characters that Bologna, you know, characters that are really good quick transformation targets that always end up getting you value. And I don't think that we really see that here. I mean, the Neith transformation's cute, but I don't think it's really that good most of the time.
I agree with you. I think in team fights, it's not good. But I think that in these little jungle skirmishes, trying to protect Crimson or allow him to go for a triple kill, that's your best case scenario, unless you're in range to transform into Delnyy to go into the Thor pressure. So that's another reason why we probably see the Morrigan, is the fact that Jumpahhh is a traditional Thor player, but wants to get that versatility going from the early game.
Yeah, that is true. Jumpahhh has played a lot of Thor during his time. I am worried about these transformation options by the time the team fights come around, but Flashpoint needs to get there first, and they're looking pretty good to do so as Crimson loses the ultimate because DoctorL trades his out for it. Koiz comes in and throws out a Watery Grave as well, as Jumpahhh coming in quite speedy with those Talaria boots as another World Weaver connects.
It was aimed actually at DoctorL, I believe, so intercepting that was AquaticApe. IAmTheHamster going to fall for his transgressions as Koiz gets rooted in place, slowed from the crush, but after that victory, I think Flashpoint wants some more.
Jumpahhh trying to chase down DoctorL, but a really good knock up there prevents him from falling as Ape actually uses the beads to get out of the banish that was coming his way out of Crimson. Another red buff invade. Not necessarily successful in stripping the buff away, but successful in putting pressure onto Elevate, which has kind of been the whole game plan. Flashpoint up over 3,000 gold right now.
And things are going to get only scarier. Crimson without the ultimate, but doesn't even matter. Didn't have the tower aggro, and he's bold enough to contest AquaticApe.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, dog. I mean, There's just no way you ever kill AquaticApe before his cooldowns come back up. But Jumpahh's here. Beautiful double stun. Transformation right away into the Neith. But it's the real Neith that ends up getting the kill. And keegsmate coming in on the rotation. May as well get some value out of that World Weaver while you have it. Good play there by Jumpahhh, able to get 2 in the mid lane.
That was cute. A 2 for 1 at the end of the day. Whether that was intended from Crimson, we're going to say it was. Sacrificing his life for the greater good. Jumpahhh now with a 2-level lead over DoctorL. Picking up the Chronos Pendant. I like this item pickup simply because of how long the duration of the Changeling ultimate is.
Certainly a little bit less focus on the burst damage with this build and more on the utility of changing into targets, but again, his transformations are much more low impact than your traditional Morrigan composition. So I don't know if this is the way I'd go. I think if you build her like a traditional assassin from here, you know, a Polynomicon, a lot of penetration, all that kind of stuff, then this pick makes a little bit more sense, I think, in my mind.
I agree with you. I think that you're giving up a lot of damage by going for this build, which hurts your late game, but if you're looking for some early to mid game pressure, Chronos Pendant might be the way to go, relying on your late game damage to be Crimson instead.
Another red buff invade attempted as Delny's got to use his ultimate on the right-hand side. Vela and Ape on the run, but Hamster is going to get knocked right out of the sky. Banish again sets it up. Crimson finds his 6th. He's been a part of all 8 kills so far for Flashpoint. As Ape wants to get in there and take the red buff, but dude, that is no longer yours. You lost that as he uses the ultimate again as a defensive tool.
A little bit of a damage check onto keegsmate. That's the factor that players separate themselves from your mid-tier to your high-tier to elite tiers, knowing when it's safe or not safe to pick up a buff. Just because you confirm a buff doesn't mean you have to pick it up. You're going to put yourself way more out of position than it's worth. So giving that up, not a bad idea.
Gold Fury pulled for the first time now as Flashpoint certainly has the positioning. Vela has that airstrike though. Only level 9 right now on this Jing way and no contest whatsoever from Elevate. With Hamster and Vela there, I mean, is there any chance that Elevate even get that Gold Fury?
Not without AquaticApe. The dual lane is all fine and dandy, but you're really relying on IAmTheHamster, and that's why Flashpoint took that chance. They killed out Hamster, and they forced IAmTheHamster from AquaticApes, knowing that it would be, at most, a 4-on-4 without having to worry about Scylla ultimate, was why Flashpoint even made that call in the first place.
Vela going forward and nearly finds it onto keegsmate. 2 autos should be enough, but Keegs gonna start juking around beads. IAmTheHamster will secure it for Vela. And that is the truest sense of the word secure I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, he was about to be scot-free. A couple of missed basic attacks out of Vela that I believe is substituting for Mr. White, unless this is a permanent roster change, as we are in week number 6, so probably setting up for that season 6. Elevate not in contention to make it to that placement round, whereas Flashpoint, all they have to do is find a victory today. Doesn't matter if it's 2-0 or 2-1, and they'll be able to get some placements.
Jumpahhh stunning onto Hamster once again as Valkyrie's discretion gets it done. Great accuracy there from Crimson. Yeah, really nice shot.
Impressive.
On that second shot because he didn't have a lot more time in order to get that kill. He was
That's right.
Hamster was about to be out of range.
The problem was if he missed the second one, that little corner behind the red buff would have delayed the movement from Crimson and dropped the kill, but not going to drop the kill under the tier 1 mid tower. AquaticApe nowhere to go.
Jumpahhh notches his second. Around the back comes DoctorL looking at Crimson, but Banish right on time. CC chain even better. It's a double kill for Jumpahhh as DoctorL just kind of walked straight into traffic.
So I wanted to talk about the Banish when they killed the Hamster around the red buff before, but Banish yet again, one of the most underappreciated forms of crowd control, I believe. Now, going through some changes before back in the day where it used to be from 1 second to 2 seconds, which would confuse your own allies, is now a 1.5 second cooldown. So it's a lot easier to understand the timing of when this target's about to fall down, and then follow up with all additional forms of CC. Matt Koiz waiting very patiently on the ground for the Sumo Slam, and the rest is history. This level 12 Erlang Shen with only Magi's Cloak not tanky enough to absorb all those cooldowns.
And DoctorL didn't even have the Magi's when he walked in the mid lane there. Now hits 12, finishes the bubble, and gets some purification beads. So that'll help him, but is it too little too late already for Elevate?
And that's the risk versus reward that you take by going for the blink at level 1, realizing that, okay, I need to make some plays for my team, which is why I'm Erlang Shen, trying to find people out of position. He was in the dueling to start off the game around that level 6 marker, but couldn't really find anything as Keegs was able to backpedal into his own tower with the assistance of Koiz. That's been doing a good job of peeling with the Watery Grave.
Another setup right onto Scylla, and good, wow, bye. I mean, World Weaver right on time from Keegs, and the whoop, the Aegis thing in the mid whoop won't really help you out, as now Keegs got to deal with 2.
Another one.
On his left-hand side. Jumpahh's got a World Weaver of his own, though it does not quite as much damage. Delnyy comes all the way over from solo, is able to clean up Vela, blink in from DoctorL, and they're trying to CC chain down Keegs. They are successful in that, but DoctorL still looking likely to fall. Crimson finds his 3rd in a row, as now it's just IAmTheHamster around. Looks like he might be able to escape, though maybe not. Delnyy will start the dive, walls him off, and sets up a kill. Does have the passive, so Delnyy's going to take a lot of damage here from this tower, but still safe and sound. The level 17 Thor making it look easy.
With the Void Shield and the Gladiator Shield, a decent amount of physical protections to absorb those tower shots. Counting a lot of kills now, 15 on the side of Flashpoint. They're feeling so frisky that they even want to get this tier 2. Good little route from AquaticApe, going to keep Crimson in check as Vela, relying on that Jing Wei passive, is going to save his tower.
AquaticApe takes about half his HP from a little bit of damage coming from Crimson. Level 16 damage mage will do that to you, especially one that has Polynomicon and Book of Thoth and a red buff and is 3 levels up.
It's wild. 8, 1, and 6. A part of 14 of his team's 15 kills. Very impressive stuff from the mid Freya. And I like the choice of being able to do that alongside Jumpahh's Morrigan. It was a strategy that was at first not sure exactly how it would pan out, because if you get off to a slow start or a negative start, the comeback potential becomes a lot harder. There's a lot of snowball potential for Erlang Shen to get off the board, but I just didn't really see that out of DoctorL.
No, I mean, he was behind from pretty much minute 1, it felt like. And Elevate, it used to be known as a pretty aggressive team that would put you in positions where if you fell behind early, it would be difficult to come back. And it just feels like they kind of lost that identity, but DoctorL seems to keep wanting to go for those same sorts of plays, but it just isn't really working for Elevate right now, as very little is, to be honest. Jumpahhh transforming into Delnyy, now looking for a target. He considering going all the way towards the left, and Vela looks juicy, but instead he'll decide onto the tank as Keegs isolated and brought down. Rotation in from DoctorL beats the Thor.
A little too indecisive about what Flashpoint wanted to do, let alone what Jumpahhh wanted to do, but not hesitating any longer. The target is going to be the Hamster.
Hamster still up, though, and Delnyy now commits the ultimate. Might need to come and peel in the mid lane, but misses both, and DoctorL is able to get the kill on the Crimson just the second time that Freya has fallen. Koiz looking to finally return it, but Delnyy with a beautiful double tap up and over the wall is able to put down DoctorL, but now he's in trouble.
At the end of the day, Delnyy is going to avoid that pluck, but not going to be able to land on both of those hammers before he falls. A 3-for-1 Elevate now being able to start swinging things in their way. And keep in mind, Gold Fury is up. 25 seconds for Crimson, about 40 on the side of Delnyy. So that's going to be a nice little 4-on-3 advantage if Elevate want to push it further.
But where do they push it to? I mean, the Gold Fury, are they healthy enough to do this here?
I think so, especially with AquaticApe still having the ultimate. If they can find a kill onto Koiz, good route, even better of a crush, and this should be a kill.
But Koiz gets the dash off, still enough. Ape able to secure it with that auto attack. Now Jumpahhh is hanging out around the back of this Gold Fury. Jumpahhh now trying to sneak in, but Nexamiss knows he's coming. Lurking in the water could be used to secure, but now keegsmate has already returned. Gold Fury's getting lower. Jumpahhh is transformed into the Neith right now. It is looking to steal it away as Gold Fury gets low. Elevate does secure it, but Jumpahhh hasn't been able to do a whole lot. Now Crimson comes over, flattens Ape, and is able to get at least one, but Keegs falls.
They need to retreat. They can't afford to lose any more members. If they do, Flashpoint could be on the counter siege. Crimson making it happen thus far. Hamster gonna get taken out as well, surrounded by 3, and this is what we were talking about, aggro. Now Flashpoint, with a 4-on-2 advantage, can start pushing some tier 2 towers.
It just takes Elevate so long, and Ape is so worried about Jumpahh's positioning that he puts himself way out of position. on Flashpoint's side of the map. I mean, Ape was still mostly healthy, over 3/4 HP. Jumpahhh doesn't have the damage yet to burst him. He just now finished off that Polynomicon. I don't know. Ape's positioning there kind of lends itself to Flashpoint being able to win that fight, despite Jumpahhh with a really completely ineffective transformation.
I would agree. I think that he was doing a good job just buying time to prevent Nexamiss from getting in the thick of things this time. Fire Giant being started from Flashpoint 21 minutes in.
Backflip's good. Fire Giant still leashed, but DoctorL has to get out of there, even with use of the ultimate still pretty low, as Crimson actually falls in the turnaround pin from DoctorL. Fire Giant doing way too much damage here to Flashpoint. Jumpahhh finally does bring down Nexamiss, but that bought enough time for Elevate to come in and begin cleaning up. Jumpahhh with a transformation that again doesn't do a whole lot. DoctorL with the shutdown, as Delnyy completely out of mana. Really can't afford to commit here, but he does. Gets the kill onto DoctorL, but will lose his life because of it.
The on-kill gonna buy him a second.
He didn't pop the crush.
Oh my goodness. Walks away from it all, but still will get the kill. A 4-for-2. Both of these teams a little too ambitious for some of their objective calls. That Fire Giant was very frisky.
Keegs has upgraded teleport. Teleports in order to start that Fire Giant with his team, and just doesn't.
Wait, you're right. Yeah, I was like, wait, really?
Because I saw someone TPing in, and Delnyy and Koiz were both there. Huh. I was like, who is doing this? It was Keegs. He's trying to get a tier 2. He's trying to make that right-hand side now.
He's trying to make that highlight reel and contest Chaos for like the most known non-solo lane teleport ever.
Yeah, but the thing was, Keegs had to pick up teleport at level 12, not like Chaos buying it at a spur of the moment sort of action, as Keegs does get the tier 2 on right, but will cost him his life. Yeah, this shot calling from Flashpoint has been poor, and the mechanics have also left a lot to be desired, I'd say. And it's harsh to put it so bluntly, I think, but there's a team, well, okay, ouch. This is a team trying to contend for a world championship. I mean, SadAquaticApe is not going to Worlds. So him walking into Crimson and getting insta-killed 6 times in a row is disappointing, but not something that surprises me in a way. This Flashpoint team's defending world champs, and this is not like a useless game for them. This is for them to go to Worlds, and them playing like this is not impressive.
I agree. I think that there's something to be said about the difference between LAN versus online portion. Like calls like that.
Yeah, even like that. Like what's going on there?
Little things like that need to be cleaned up now, sooner rather than later. So the fact that it's happening now means that there is some room for improvement, as they still are vying for that second place spot, which doesn't guarantee them to HRX, but it guarantees them to that placements.
DoctorL dies to the Dark Omen damage out of Jumpahhh, but it was Keegs' World Weaver that made sure it happened. Good dunk there from Delnyy. Perfect wall as well. Hamster has a little corridor to get through, but as soon as he sneaks through it, he goes right to sleep. Jumpahhh finds his 3rd in a row. It's again a couple kills, but Flashpoint haven't been able to get the objectives yet.
Nexamiss gonna try to do what he can, basically wasting a lot of mana from Crimson that doesn't have much DPS now as a result. Jumpahhh gonna set up the stun. Dark Omen, Sumo Slam into the wall. No more life for Nexamiss. It's up to AquaticApe and Vela to hold this Fire Giant.
I don't think they're even gonna contest here, totally. No real reason to, with this many members of Flashpoint being as healthy as they are. Fire Giant will finally go down for Flashpoint, who was in control by a large margin, let control slip from them a little bit. The lead dipped to about 3K for a little bit there, and is now back up towards the 7,000 mark.
I think a lot of it comes down to Crimson's performance. This late game Freya has been an absolute nuisance. Also, Jumpahhh made a really great play transforming into the Morrigan. I believe he did pick off Vela around that tier 2 tower. Good performance by him. And that's been the success story for Flashpoint, is their jungle mid synergy, playing these double mages.
I mean, they're a combined 20-4 so far up against Elevate. It's really, Keegs has really struggled in this game. 1-6 so far for him. I don't think upgraded teleport's doing him a whole lot of favors. Delnyy trying to wombo combo with Keegs, but Vela has eyes, so doesn't get hit by it. Pretty telegraphed there from Flashpoint.
Well, he has 20% cooldown reduction. I don't think he's necessarily too worried of wasting that ultimate, knowing that there's still plenty of time for him to back to base after this Gold Fury, spend all that gold in hand, and go for round 2 by the time they get to any one of those Phoenixes.
Another Gold Fury goes down for Flashpoint. That's their 2nd of the game. I don't know. I just think that, you know, Flashpoint is obviously a team that likes to have a little fun. They don't take themselves too seriously a lot of the time. But in a game where this is a must-win,
Sure.
I could say that, you know, I was always kind of the party pooper and the no-fun police on my team a lot of the time. But I would be very displeased if this was our chance to secure a land spot and this was the way we were playing.
I agree. I think that when I used to play as well, it was a situation where we would have our fun, and if it came down to us,
you guys know, totally.
What do you mean? Anyway, like I was saying, we like to have our fun, and if it actually cost us the victory, then we would have a serious, stern discussion. But I think in the moment when it's like about 12,000 of a goal lead, 27 minutes in, you're just about to close out the game. There's some things you can't and get away with. There's levels to it, right? Like the walling off from Delnyy, like near your own fountain, totally fine.
Sure,
you're walling people off, like your own teammates in the heat of a combat. Unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely not all moments of fun are created equally. And there has certainly been some good-hearted stuff from Flashpoint, but it's also been their shot calling has been poor, their mechanics have been poor at times, and it's kind of lended itself to a game that, if I'm on Flashpoint, I feel like should have been over, 5 minutes ago with the way that they were playing in the early game. When Crimson and Jumpahhh get that big that early, the fact that Elevate is still playing this game at 27 minutes, I think is something that Flashpoint should be looking at.
Sure.
Now Keeg's back to base, and you'd be saying, well, aggro, he's gonna miss the siege. He's the ADC. Well, fear not, young viewer. Keegs is back with his upgraded teleport.
Oh boy, nice little plug onto Keegs, but he's gonna use the beats to avoid the knockup out of Vela, charging up his ultimate. Who is the target? Nexamiss taking a lot of pot shots out of Crimson.
Keegs doesn't use that ultimate quite yet because Delnyy, look at this, is out splitting on the right-hand side, and there is no response whatsoever from Elevate. They just let Delnyy get that right side Phoenix. Jumpahhh holds DoctorL in mid, and the 4v3 on left doesn't end up amounting to a whole lot. Keegs gets plucked underneath Phoenix, but is able to escape still. Crimson brings down Ape as Nexamiss looking to chase down keegsmate. Delnyy going to join this fight on the left-hand side, but Crim already has the double. Keegs still able to stay up. Jumpahhh now joining him in order to secure it. Jumpahhh does bring down Nexamiss, and 3 members of Elevate now in the ground.
Oh, they really want this 4th kill already. We'll get it onto DoctorL. It's only up to Vela. Hold that thought. It's a deicide, and it's Flashpoint taking game 1.
Flashpoint get themselves 1 step closer to making it towards DreamHack Atlanta. Remember, Astral Authority is already confirmed. They, as the top seed in North America, are going straight towards DreamHack. Flashpoint, if they win this next game or game 3, basically they win this set, they end up being the 2nd seed, which sends them to those placement rounds with their chance to go up against them at DreamHack.
Where they're going to be awaiting the number 2 seed from Europe in the Xbox scene, and awaiting the number 1 seeds from the PlayStation North America and Europe.
Exactly. So we'll have to wait and see if they're able to do it. But who was the MVP for that game? Crimson. Crimson made that one look pretty easy, I think. Jumpahhh gets a lot of kills and has a very nice score line, but it was really Crimson that was doing the majority of the heavy lift.
I think I like the strategy coming out of Flashpoint that game between the Neith and the dual lane, between also the Morrigan and the jungle, something we haven't really seen often from Jumpahhh, but I think that we're going to start seeing it more frequently. Having double Neith ultimates makes it very scary to even approach the jungle side. SadAquaticApe struggled a lot that game. Not because of the 1v1 matchup, but also because of those globals he had to worry about. And that wasn't even with Delnyy making rotations from the solo lane either.
It's true. That Thor solo worked out pretty well from Delnyy by my estimation. I do like the idea from Flashpoint there, hit the weak spot of Elevate and really accentuate our greatest strength. I think Crimson is the best player on this team right now, so you want to try and get him a lead, and sure enough, he is your Game 1 MVP on this Freya. First pick is God, camp his lane, get a victory.
It makes perfect sense. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen more pressure onto Crimson after that red buff invade, which actually was a first blood for Vela that took advantage of the out-of-position keegsmate having to try to get to level 2 there. I think like DoctorL underestimated Crimson's damage. SadAquaticApe severely misunderestimated Crimson's damage throughout the game.
Yeah, there was a couple times where Crimson just gets kills that probably shouldn't have happened, but ended up working out for Flashpoint without a doubt. This Freya selection, I don't think will go Flashpoint's way again. And that's the Gold Fury fight we were talking about, where Ape, too worried about where Jumpahhh is, ends up putting himself right in the line of fire.
And I think that triple kill earlier on in the game when he was fighting around the red buff, the way he was able to kill DoctorL, avoid IAmTheHamster's damage, was very impressive stuff. Utilizing that Neith global ultimate and the Polynomicon pickup, amplifying his damage in that early portion of the mid game is what helped him just kind of surprise, elevate even further.